Good evening and welcome to the Hawarden City Council meeting on Wednesday, February 10th, 2016 at 5:30 p.m. All present are council members, mayor, and staff. Standard agenda number 1A, the approval of the January 27th, 2016 City Council meeting minutes.
So moved.
There's been a motion by Travis. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by John. Thanks. You guys all sound alike over there. We had a motion and a second, so all in favor of the January 27th City Council meeting minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, that passes 5-0. We have the claims for payment for this evening, and we'll start with Monty for questions. None? Okay. Travis, any questions?
None, thank you.
Phil? Any questions on payments?
None, thank you.
John?
None, thank you.
Okay. Hearing no questions, I'd entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Moved by Tim. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Payne. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, that passes 5-0. We have no members in the community tonight, unless Kathy wants to talk. Talk instead of cough. Let's move on to the mayor's report, if we could. I'd like to congratulate Randy Ballard on receiving the Fireman of the Year award. Randy had served for 23 years and has recently retired from that position. And Doug Wilkins also received a longevity award with the fire department for 30 years. We thank them and all of the fire department members for their service. Thanks to all the local citizens who cleared off their sidewalks following the last snowstorm. Also thanks to our city crew, the county crew, and the state crew who did a great job on the local streets, blacktops, and highways. Our job is never without difficulties when there's that much snow. Last meeting we received our annual audit report for the city. Thanks to our city staff, since the audit showed no deficiencies or concerns. Those that are interested may view the audit at the city offices. Our congratulations to the West Sioux boys and girls basketball teams for their success on the court. Also congratulations to Corey Van Ort, Adrian Tapetti, Darlin Marquez, who will be wrestling at districts this Saturday. West Sioux large group speech teams also were very successful at state speech. There's a lot of great things going on at our local high school. Received a letter, as we usually do, from Mid-Sioux Opportunity. Dear Mayor and City Council, on behalf of the board and staff of Mid-Sioux, I want to thank you for your financial contribution. These funds will be used for services in your county. Local support is extremely important to us. Last fiscal year, Mid-Sioux generated over $8 million in revenue from federal, state, and local sources. Our administrative costs were less than 7%, which means nearly all of the funds we receive go to services to families. Families live today in a very fragile work environment. Loss of employment or a reduction in work hours can place them in a crisis situation. Our services are designed to get them back on their feet, with the ultimate goal being economic self-sufficiency. Again, we appreciate your support and thank you for the confidence in Mid-Sioux. Signed respectfully, Dick Sievers, the Executive Director. And lastly, I'd like to congratulate the owners of Broder's Plaza, a restaurant and clothing store that will open this week, and also the relocation of the Big Sioux Embroidery. Our revolving loan fund assisted both of those, and we look forward to the grand opening of those this week, and I know Big Sioux is already in their store, so we appreciate their relocation to our community. We'll move on next to anything from council, please.
I would like to add my congratulations to the city crew for moving the snow this time. They did a much better job than last time, and I want them to know it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Monty. Anything else? Okay, we'll move on to staff reports. We'll start with Jim.
I don't have anything to report.
Shocking. Thanks. Mike, Chief of Police, please.
Just want to remind people that there's still no parking during the snow. During the blizzard, we had 7 cars that we issued snow tickets to. They eventually got them all out, and then the crews had to go back and go plow where they were parked. Also, we just asked drivers watch for kids in the crosswalks when they're going to and from school.
Thank you. Tom Kane, please.
Just have a reminder with the recent snows and some of the snow drifts, make sure the area around your furnace exhaust is cleaned out. Most of the high-efficiency furnaces have a plastic vent that comes out the side of the house. And we did have a customer that had a drift over their exhaust pipe, and it encased the exhaust and intake, and it was pulling the exhaust into the furnace, and it was causing the furnace to malfunction. So we had a call out there and got that straightened out. And we do recommend everybody has a carbon monoxide detector in their house. And if you're wondering if you're having problems with it, please call us. We'll come out and check it for you. And our snow removal budget, we've got a lot of questions on that. And we have spent our entire budget for this year. It's the first time in 15 years that this has happened this early in the season. So it's been an interesting winter so far. That's all I have.
Those carbon monoxide detectors, are they available through the city utilities or not?
No, they can be bought at the local, like at Baumgart's or wherever.
We talked the other day also about radon types of things too. That should be maybe.
They can get a kit in the city office and have it tested and sent away. I believe they're $10. Yeah.
Okay. Yep, let's keep everybody safe. Gary?
I just had a couple things to add to your report, Mayor Porter. They do have a copy of the audit in the library as well for people to review. If they, we do provide one to the library. Also, wanted to thank Dave Pusey for providing us with a yearly overview of the activities of the Big Sioux River Historical Society, and you'll find that in your packets. If you haven't noticed, it's right behind the memo. A pretty comprehensive overview of what they do on a yearly basis. And one of the other things I hope to do, maybe in April and May, as we get through the budget process and maybe some of the establishing fees and rates, maybe look at some of the entities such as the golf course as an example, and maybe I think with all the new faces on the council, and I think even the golf course, maybe get a better understanding that what we do there every year, that as far as the city, what the relationship is, who pays for what, and whether just kind of lay it out and see if that's where you want to continue, the path that we want to continue down the road. Things have changed, continue to change, and I think it would be wise for us to take a look at several of those entities and just look at our interaction with them and see if if everyone's on board and that's the direction we want to continue, or if maybe we should look at something different. So we'll be looking at those, if you guys are okay with that, over the course of the next few months, as we have a little lesser or a little lighter agendas. We'll put some of those things on and get the information out to you to look at. So.
All right, any questions for staff from council?
Chief DeBryan, can we put the stop signs back out, like you're in the quick corner area or anything, those portables?
You know, that's something that we talked about this morning. But except that, the problem is the kids don't cross at one intersection. So we were talking about different alternatives today to see what we can come up with, and we'll continue to work on that.
Okay.
We'll move on to other agenda items. A hospital update by Jason Pullman, please. Hi, Jason.
Good evening, council members, and thanks for having me again this time. Obviously, the snow has caused some delays. Nobody really did anything over the snowfall time, and so they're back at it, though. They're trying to enclose the structure that they have up, and they're trying to finish a certain section of the structure and get that enclosed. They are starting to dethaw the ground so they can start doing the plumbing, and so we're going to see some rapid movement in that area hopefully soon. We're still slated to start pouring concrete first week in March on the inside. So things are going well. It's just Mother Nature tends to throw you a curveball every once in a while. So we'll just continue to duck and try to duck through those things and continue to make progress. So.
Good. Well, like we talked about with the city street budget and snow removal, we hope there's, for everybody's sake, there's not much left in the air for the rest of the season. So.
Yeah. Also, the hospital I'd like to thank the city for the great service that we received from the city in helping snow removal, because that was just a lot of snow, and we thank you for everything you did.
Okay. Any questions? Good. Thanks again for being with us. Appreciate it very much.
Yep.
On our past two meetings, we've had the approval of the final contract closeout documents for Phase 1 distribution improvements 2013-2014. This is with Power Secure, the work they have done with that. We've, in our packet from DGR, talking about that everything is pretty well completed, and they're asking for their final check in the amount of $49,987.92. Gary or Tom, want to mention anything before we...
We just had one little area we had to have cleaned up, and that was taken care of last week, and I think everything's in order and ready to be paid. So,
Okay. Seem to be a very good company to work with when they were here with us, and kind of became part of the community pretty well.
they did. They were a great group.
Yeah. Okay. So, is there any questions, or may I entertain a motion to approve the final contract for the Phase 1 distribution improvement?
So moved.
Moved by Payne.
Second.
Moved by Payne, seconded by Tim. Further questions or clarifications? All in favor of the approval of the final contract, say aye.
Could I ask Tom one thing before you? They refer to a final document that they'll send you. They're going to send that after payment. You haven't gotten that, right?
We have the final documents,
Yeah.
don't we? That
Yeah.
I think we have all three copies that are ready
Just
to be
haven't
signed and
anything,
sent.
So.
Okay.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. Passes 5-0. We had DGR present us a presentation on lighting for Highway 10 with that proposed project, and they've brought a number of different options to us, brought us some good options, we believe, and need a little bit of discussion on how to direct the staff at this point for this project. You know, there's 4 options, and the staff and Gary have included the estimated costs, not the labor installation costs involved, but they went through that a little bit as far as that goes. Funding, I think Gary talked that we've got some money through that other project that we kind of set aside for this. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Question I have is, options 1, 2, and 3 go to the state standard lighting levels.
Right.
And option 4 stays at current light levels. Is that the light level over the street, or just the light level in general that it casts out behind and around?
It's over the street and the sidewalk area.
Street?
So,
Because we're going to LED fixtures, so the lighting is going to be different. I mean, it's
Right, but I guess my main question is the light over the street portion, behind it is more the homeowner issue, but the light that is projected over the street portion, is that going to be close to equal to what we currently have?
if you went with option 4.
Well, I paid attention the last time I drove down Central, and the streetlights look like a cobbled up mess. Over Main Street, there's one kind, then for a couple blocks, there's something else, then there's these, whatever they are, old-fashioned kind, and then there's more of the original kind, and it's just, I do not want Highway 10 looking like Central.
I agree. It's a mess.
So if we've got to put in all one kind, put in all one kind. I don't want to divide and conquer here. That's, Central looks tacky. Not in Jim's place, but every place else looks tacky.
No, I agree with you. But
In my humble opinion.
So then you'd be in favor of option 2.
Hell, or option 4, I don't care, but I'm not interested in,
The decorative and
I'd pick one or the other, is what I'm saying.
not a mixture. Okay.
When you come down the top of that hill, like by Quick Corner, you're going to see, every different kind of light there is on Highway 10. And it's just gonna glare at you, the fact that these lights aren't all the same.
I think also it's something you only do every 50 years, so if we do spend a little more to make them all the same, it would make sense to, I wouldn't mind that at all. It's just, but
are you interested in the decorative, or you would rather go with just the Cobra
decorative,
heads?
yeah,
Or
that's what I'm saying. I think they look really nice. It improves the city look, and that's kind of like the main thoroughfare, so it'd be nice to be.
And then we could eventually tie Central into that if
Yeah.
we did the decorative, and hopefully someday someone will want to do Central Avenue maybe and do the same thing. But that would be a thought anyway. But
I'm good with that.
And the price difference is?
well, if you're looking at option all decorative compared to decorative and Cobra head, you're looking at 130 to 225.
More than I'm willing to spend for decorative lights.
What's that, Doc?
That's more than I'm willing to spend for decorative lights.
Yeah. You're looking at 100
Installation costs go up considerably.
for me.
Installation goes up by about $70.
Yeah, and installation will go up as well, so.
It just does not appear that this end of Central is lit as well as the old lights light the street. And that's what we're concerned with, lighting the streets.
So, whatever you guys choose is,
Well, I like the decorative just for the whole appearance of the town, but it's my opinion.
stalemate.
Has anybody received any feedback from community at all? I have not heard anything one way.
We will once they're up.
Yeah.
I haven't heard
Well, I
anything.
think almost anything we put up is going to, because it's LED, it's going to be such a different look that people are going to complain still that, because if you look on the highways and stuff where they put LEDs, it looks like they're all burnt out except for the one that's right over you. And then you drive down and all of a sudden you realize they're working. And
Well, there are some LEDs in town. I mean, it's not like they're going to be totally new, but whatever. Looking for a motion, how about we put up all the old-fashioned kind?
I second it.
No. The cheap kind.
Oh.
You don't second.
I thought you said,
You're opposed to this, I
you
promise.
said the old-fashioned kind.
The
The
Cobra
kind
head.
we've had.
Oh.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
Whatever that number is.
That would be option number 2.
That's what
And you
I'm,
want to do it at the standard, the standard that is required by the state to light the highway? Is that what
Yes.
you're looking at? Okay. Which
Yeah.
would be option 2.
Okay, so there's a motion for all Cobra head standard levels, option number 2 by Monty. Is there a second to that motion?
So what is the next step if we continue? If we decide that we want to pursue that, do they draw plans and?
Yeah, and bid it out. It'll have to be bid because of the price. All the 70,000 is right on the fringe.
140 of installations, so
Yeah.
it's 210.
And how much was set aside on the original project for this?
Well, we've got 250 that.
We borrowed an extra
We borrowed an extra
$250,000 that we're paying
Yeah,
interest
we don't-
on.
We also received that rebate from MB Mecca as well, right?
Pardon me?
We received money back from MB Mecca as well, right?
Yeah. We have lots of other things we could purchase with that money as well, so. It just depends on what you want to use it for, so.
Motion for option number 2 by Monty. Is there a second? Hearing no second, that motion is dropped. Is there any other motion for the streetlight project?
How much, could we get a number where it would increase if we backed up the decorative lights to Avenue M? To break that peak in that hill and then seeing the difference down in between?
To do what,
Where you-
Dean? I'm
Where
sorry.
you added decorative lights from I to M, so you came up the hill, so you're not, like Monty said, once you peak that hill, you see all the different lights.
We didn't get a number, but I guess I don't have a number for you, but
It'd be a little bit of a middle ground, because between M and N is kind of your transition point, where you come up over that hill and can see the rest of the town. So if you made the break right in there between the Cobra heads and the decorative, it might not be as tacky a look as Doc pointed out. You know, you start coming down M, and you got another 2 blocks of Cobra heads and then into the decoratives. So once you peak that hill, if that transition breaks right there, then you're not driving for how many blocks seeing the difference.
I mean, I'm sure we can get a number, but I don't have that readily available tonight, but we didn't want to create 10 different,
I understand
scenarios,
that,
so-
and that
but we
just
sure
might be a
can.
middle ground between the all one way or all the other way. And
You've already got some of the Cobra head built into that price, so I'm sure, it wouldn't be. It'd just be a guess if I threw a number out, so I don't want to do that. I'd want them to give us a number, so.
Would the council like us to pursue that for the next meeting, or is there a motion for one of the other options?
I'm fine with 3, too, so.
What's that?
Nothing.
Okay.
Our thought process, Payne, just so you know, our thought process was to break it at the commercial area, and it goes from commercial really to residential at that point. That was our only thought process in doing it, so right, wrong, or otherwise, it was the only reason we did it there, so.
Well, should we try option 3? Make a motion? Is that-
Is that a motion for option
Yes.
number 3?
I'll second it.
Been a motion for option number 3 by Tim, seconded by Travis. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of option number 3, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
No.
Option number 3. Vote is 4-1. So we'll direct staff to contact DGR and start setting that in motion. Okay. Thank you for your conversations with that. Next is a review of the utility rates and fees. We're going to go over that again, just to give us some thought process, and then we'll get into utility budgets and general fund budgets.
If we could, if you guys are okay with this, what I would suggest is that I'd like to maybe just kind of do an overview of the rates and fees again, briefly, and then I would really like to focus on those at our next meeting on the 24th. I did provide you in your packets, there was another community that was requesting rates, so I compiled all those rates for you so you can see what some of the other cities, surrounding cities are. I don't think that's a reason for us to, what we should be using to set our rates, but it does give you a feel for what other communities are at. Again, the only fee increases that I'm suggesting would be pool and again, solicitors and peddlers fees, change those slightly. And then the utility rates, I would just ask that, you know, that you look at our water and sewer rates and that we look at some increases there. I think they're needed in the water and sewer area. I'll let you determine how much. You can see for yourself what those numbers are, and if you choose not to, that's, you know, entirely up to you, obviously. But my recommendation was that they need to be increased and to some level, and I would, if we're going to go through the budgets here tonight, it might be, I would like to maybe set aside some time at our next meeting to really talk more in depth of those rates, and if you guys are okay with that, unless you have some things you'd like to talk about tonight on them. And we won't have any budget items at the next meeting because we'll have hopefully tonight pre-approved a draft budget to go to public hearing, so that we won't have to have that on the next budget, or excuse me, on the next council agenda, so we can focus on rates and fees. That would be okay. The rates are not built into the budget, so whatever we do won't impact the budget itself. So no increases are budgeted into this year's budget. So if that's all right.
Sounds like a plan.
Thanks.
Moving on to the budget stuff. Again, I did give you some sections in the budget and I did highlight every change that was of any significance. We did go through on the general fund and utilities projects for next year, the equipment purchases that we plan to make. And rather than going through this line by line, I just kind of thought I would open it up and see if you had any additional questions that have come up since our last meeting. Again, I'm very pleased the fact that the transfers are down to 240 this year, which has kind of been a personal target of mine since I've been here, and I think it's a pretty rock solid budget considering. Not a lot of fluff in there, and I feel very good about it. So
So do you want a resolution now, or do you want,
well,
anybody got any questions?
It's on item 9. We'll have to do that. We'll have to get to that point. And again, keep in mind, if we pass this resolution tonight, that's passing a proposed draft budget, and then we have a public hearing. We have to publish it, the actual budget, in the paper on the 25th, and then on the 9th of March, we have a public hearing, and then you have to approve a final draft of the budget for filing with the auditor, the county auditor. Okay. So there's a whole process that goes through. So this isn't, you're not technically approving the budget tonight. You're approving a draft of the budget. So if anything changes at the public hearing, or if you guys have changes between now and the 9th of March, we can still make those changes. So. it's just a process, so.
Appreciate the work in the budget to get each of those utility entities self-sufficient, so to speak.
Yeah, and I think we'll have some of those discussions at the next meeting on the water and
Fees.
wastewater, just along those lines. And again, nobody likes to raise rates, and I understand that, but
And as you mentioned, you worked hard to get transfers from utilities to the general fund in half.
yeah, we've all been a part of that, and it's been a great.
Good work on the staff.
We've made some great changes over the last number of years to allow us to take that money and use it for, in my opinion, where it's intended to be used for streets and electric updates, grades, and different things that have been necessary, so.
And some of the staff changes and those types of things have
Yeah,
worked out.
it's
very well.
worked out well, so.
Other questions on the utility budgets?
Looks good to me.
How about the general fund budget? We talked, wouldn't it be nice if we had a lot more in road use tax and.
Yeah, that's been a big help this year. You pay a little more at the pump, but doesn't feel so bad when gas prices are where they're at, but.
We were talking earlier too about some of the smaller projects of doing the sewer manholes and relining those, 25 of those this year or in this budget time and those types of things. It's a lot of good upkeep and a lot of good work.
Yeah, we've implemented some of those things over the course of the last 4 or 5 years, which have been really good. The sewer, cleaning the sewer, a third of the town every year has been huge. We get very few call-outs anymore for sewer, and typically if we do, they're customers. They're usually a resident's sewer line. That's not ours typically. So, not that we don't have a few, but it's minimized significantly, and so it's been a good thing.
And it's a real easy project when you highlight the significant changes in the budget, so we can be pointed that out. Council, have any questions about the general fund budget? Obligation bonds and those types of things are, and we were talking about that earlier today. Some of the projects that we've done with the rates have been phenomenal, and the timing of the projects with those projects and the bids have been phenomenal for us.
Yeah.
Last number of years.
Stars were aligned.
Yeah, that's been very helpful. Any questions for staff in regards to the fiscal year 2017 general fund budget? If I don't hear any questions, we're going to move to agenda item number 9, if that's okay. This would be a resolution 2016-03, adopting, as Gary mentioned, a final proposed draft budget for publication, and ordering a notice of the public hearing on the proposed final budget estimate of fiscal year 2016-17. If this will be passed, the public hearing then would be on March the 9th. Is there a motion for resolution 2016-03?
So moved.
It's been moved by Travis. Is there a second?
Second?
Seconded by Tim. Further questions or clarifications? Hearing none, I'd order a roll call vote for resolution 2016-03.
Feldhacker,
Yes.
Olson,
Aye.
Harvey,
No.
Allen,
Aye.
Kurth.
Aye.
On a 4-to-1 roll call vote, resolution 2016-03 passes. Agenda item number 10, reserve officer approval to carry weapons. We'll kind of refer to Mike, please.
This is just allows Brian Skur to carry weapons working as a reserve officer for us. Handgun, taser, rifle, and shotgun. Those are the weapons that he's been certified on.
Okay. Is
Hope
there-
that's not the order of implementation.
No, we have a different order. I was just going off the top of my head.
Is there a motion for that approval?
So moved.
Moved by Tim, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Travis. All in favor of the reserve officer approval to carry weapons motion, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, that passes 5-0, and we welcome Brian Skur. Consent agenda item, request from Dollar General for a renewal of a Class B liquor license, and request from the Hawarden Golf Course for a Class C liquor license. Obviously, all the paperwork is in.
Yes.
Is there a motion for that consent agenda?
So moved.
Moved by Travis, is there a second?
Second?
Seconded by Tim. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes 5-0. Our next regularly scheduled meeting will be February the 24th. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Tim, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Travis. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, we thank you for your participation.